All right, well, welcome everybody. My name is Aaron Whittier. Excited for you guys all to be here tonight on a Tuesday night. It is I believe it's the 21st of July. Is the summer's flying by as usual. Hope you guys are all enjoying your summer. So someone invited you here tonight if you're brand new, or if you're watching the replay. I'm not sure who you are, but you're here and you're watching the replay if you did get a hold of the replay. So I'm going to go through some information tonight really quickly because I want to honor everybody's time. I'm not a big believer in doing an hour-long presentation. I think, a little bit is less is more, I like to say. So we're going to get right into it. You guys don't really need to know a lot about me because it's not about me tonight. So I'm going to get right into the presentation and talk about a few different things tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about proactive wellness, strategic timing, and real leverage. So I know we have people from Australia on tonight. I've seen a few people from Australia. I've seen some other people from different countries as well. So we're not just representing the United States here tonight, but we're going to talk. We're really gonna focus on the United States because that's where most of the people are here. So, in the United States, listen, we spend more on healthcare than any other nation in history. So why are we still getting sicker? You guys ever wonder that? Trillions are spent yearly. Chronic illness is rising. Daily prescriptions are on the rise as well. And in America, we have a crisis. And listen, it's not just America. This is a problem all around the world, but there are certain places that are a lot healthier than the United States, as we all know. In the US, 42% of American adults are obese. Physical inactivity contributes to 1 in 10 premature deaths globally. Americans spend an average of 9.5 hours sitting down. We all know that. And listen, we sit down too much, obviously that does a number on our body. 70% of adults in the US take at least one prescription drug daily. And over the lifetime, the average American will ingest 50,000 pills and still never be taught how to make their body work better. That's kind of crazy. Wouldn't you agree? So, of course, the system makes money when people stay sick. We all know that. Big Pharma wants us to stay sick. No secret there, right? We all know that. Not when we stay optimized. So, in the US, we work off the reactive model, right? We wait for symptoms to arrive, we diagnose them, and then they prescribe medication to treat those issues. Now, listen, I'm not saying prescriptions are all bad, right? There are certain prescriptions that people need, but there's a lot of prescriptions out there that we can learn to get off of, So, you probably all know that, if you've been paying attention, right, the global wellness industry is experiencing massive growth right now. And a big reason for that is something we call biohacking. You may or may not have heard of biohacking, but that includes something called PEMF, red light therapy and recovery tech. There's a major global shift right now on the way people approach health. They want drug-free solutions. The world's shifting towards prevention, not just treatments. In tech and wellness are merging. AI-guided wellness tools are replacing in-home clinical visits. And PEMF, we're going to talk about that tonight, is growing like crazy. What's driving that the most is our aging population, increased chronic conditions, and growing awareness of alternative therapies. So our company, Olylife, we're going to talk about them tonight. We work off the proactive model, support the body daily, improve resilience, and optimize function. That's where our company, Olylife, lives. And just a little background on the company here. The company's only 3.5 years old. They're based out of Singapore. And there was 3 years of research on these devices. They own laboratories in Sweden and Germany. There's thousands of global patents. There's European certifications. And these devices are made with advanced chips and rare metals only found in Japan. There's global presence. There's a headquarters in Singapore, in Xiamen, China, branch offices in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Hong Kong. And right now, the reason why you're watching this replay or on live with us tonight is because we're expanding rapidly in North America, South Korea, Japan, Australia, Canada, all over Europe, South America, you name it. This company is exploding. And why? Well, it's because of these devices. Frankly, it's because of this technology and these devices. So the company right now, like we talked about, is 3.5 years old. Right now, they're doing 80 plus million per month just in Asia alone. They're shipping to over 180 countries. And on the business side, you maybe hear again just to learn about these devices. You may be here to learn because someone said you have to see this opportunity. because they're probably telling you it's the best they've seen in their career, best they've seen in their life. And that is true. We're going to talk about that. And you're going to see that in a minute. But the company created over 500 millionaires in just 3 years, just in Asia. 500 millionaires. Why? I mean, that's massive, right? Why? Because the company did over 2 billion. Did you hear that? $2 billion in sales in 3 years. I mean, that's unheard of. Where have you ever heard of a company do $1 billion in sales their second calendar year and over 3 billion in the first 3 years, 2 billion over the first 3 years? Well, we have all the certifications, all the patents, everything else on these devices, and the science to back the research. So, what's neat about these devices, listen, you probably heard of, the Beamer mat, and there's other PEMF devices out there. PEMF stands for Pulsed Electromagnetic Field. So, what does it do? And what does terahertz do? Well, you can see what it does on the list there. Promotes meridian flow, detoxes, helps with inflammation, circulation, fat burning. I mean, you name it. PEMF is the best kept secret out there. Well, it's not a secret anymore because we're spreading the word. But you look at, what it is. Originally developed by NASA, and it was help. It was to help astronauts in zero gravity repair their cells and, just get better. And you look at the astronauts when they came back from space. If they were out in space for a long time, they couldn't stand up when they get back here. The gravity just crushes them, right? So if you look at the evolution of PEMF therapy, in the early 20th century, electromagnetic fields were introduced through radio, electricity, and modern tech. There was growing awareness in the mid to late 20th century. In the 60s and 70s, that's where NASA and scientists were exploring pulsed electromagnetic field therapy as a way to support cellular health and recovery. And in the 2000s, they created these really expensive devices, $30, $40, $50,000 PEMF devices. And if you went to a really nice wellness spa or a physical therapist or something like that, they may have had one of these devices. It actually became really popular in the equestrian world. Look at anybody that breeds horses or trains horses or races horses, they all have pulsed electromagnetic field therapy devices for their horses. You can look it all up. People like Shaquille O'Neal, you look at YouTube on Shaquille O'Neal, he talked about how PEMF therapy helped him through his career, recovery from injuries. So only the real wealthy or the privileged had access to these devices. Let's face it. They wanted the rest of us to not know about it because what it does to the body. Listen, when you're helping your body out and you're doing what it needs to do to the body, you're not going to go to the doctors as much. You're just going to get better. So, of course, they don't want us to be healthy. We all know that. So 2020s, that's where Olylife came out. And finally, there are affordable devices. And they're actually better than all the things out there. And when I say that, it's not hype. I'm going to tell you why. And by the way, after you jump off this Zoom or watch the recording, go to any kind of AI you use, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, and just look up, ask that AI, what are the benefits of PEMF? And you'll see. It's crazy. I mean, ChatGPT will sell these devices for you. Okay, it's that simple. But the science behind terahertz and the Therapy 90. How are our devices different? Listen, I will tell you, I've been with the company 6 months now, almost 6 months. And every single person that's used one of these devices has seen some sort of improvement in their health or whatever they're dealing with. It's worked for everybody. Now, can't say that about the Beamer mats and all these other devices. Why are these devices so much better? Well, it's because Olylife patented the unique combination of frequencies. So bringing together PEMF, radio frequency, and terahertz energy. So the PEMF and radio frequency, those are the therapeutic energies. Those heal the body. And the terahertz energy acts as the carrier and helps drive those two frequencies deeper into the body. So we have wellness practitioners that own, spas that have the $80,000 devices and $30, $40, $50,000 devices, the best of the best, devices to help the body. And they use this P90 Plus, our most popular device, and they're saying this device works better than all the devices. Why is that? Well, it's newer, different technology. And every now and then a company comes along and just crushes the technology, comes out with something, the combination is so innovative, and it becomes really special. So let's talk about our different devices here. We have about 6 devices, I believe. The Therapy 90 you see on the left side, we're going to go through that in a second. These are a few of our devices. The H-bar is no longer with us because they're coming out. They got rid of that because they're coming out with a full countertop Ollie spring device, which is going to be phenomenal. Hopefully that's coming out this year. So let's show a couple of these devices. This Olylife P90, this was the original device out of Asia. This one device did over $2 billion the first 3 years. Just this one device. Do you think it works? You think a company that did $2 billion in the first 3 years, that this device went crazy because people were getting incredible results and the word spread like a wildfire in Asia? That's exactly what happened. You put your feet in this device and you look what it does. You guys can read. I don't have to read that to you. It's incredible. And then we came out with an improvement for North America and other countries because let's face it, in Asia, the feet are a little smaller than, people around the world. So they had to come out with bigger foot plates. And they improved the P90, made a P90 Plus, and actually has two attachments that are absolutely incredible. But this P90 Plus, you can see it in the middle bottom there, it has two attachments. One's a Frost Age Beauty Wand you can use for skincare. You can plug it into the device. And listen, estheticians and people in the skincare world are saying this device is like an instant facelift. Incredible. We also have a Revitalux wand that you can work on spot treatment, has red light therapy, EMS, TENS, PEMF, all kinds of stuff with while you're putting your feet on the device or while you don't have, I'd recommend not putting your feet on the device when you use those things. But and you look like the other devices here, but I want to show you something that's really special. This video here is absolutely incredible. I'm going to let you watch this. So this is a young woman that put her blood under a microscope, and you can see how it's slow moving, all clumped together. The cells are all clumped together. Then she put her feet on our P90 Plus for 20 minutes.
Wow. That's amazing. That is
And look at the
amazing.
difference in her blood flow,
Holy
her
smoke.
circulation.
How separate they are.
I mean, absolutely incredible. Wouldn't you guys agree? I mean, every time I watch that video, I get chills because I know that's what happened to me. I had a real bad issue with my circulation in my legs. I was a health insurance agent for 6 years. And the first 2 years of my career, I had to work basically 14-hour days, 7 days a week for 2 years straight down in Leeds. It was the worst thing, the most horrible thing I ever did, but I had to do it because I almost lost my wife in 2018. I didn't work for about a year and a half. And listen, we were starving. I was real skinny, you know? So I did what I had to do. I buckled down. I sat on my butt for 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for literally 2 years straight, and it killed my body. I gained 30 pounds. My circulation, my legs was horrible. My legs would throb every night going to sleep. I get up in the morning, 2 in the morning, take Advil every night. And 3 weeks on this device, circulation's so much better. Pain's gone. I feel like $1,000,000. So that's why when I watch that video, it gives me chills because I know that's exactly what happened to my circulation in my legs. So let's talk about the global eye strain crisis. We all know we look at our phones, our computers way too often, right? Prolonged exposure to EMFs may alter biological rhythms. Overexposure to blue light can lead to digital eye fatigue. Our children are exposed way too often to screens, right? So people are experiencing some issues with their eyes, and it's happened rapidly. We have a product for that. We have a device for that. This is my favorite device. I will tell you, this relaxes me, puts me to sleep. Now, listen, it shouldn't put me to sleep because you should keep your eyes open and look through the holes because it helps actually with, we can't make medical claims, but it's helping people with floaters in their eyes. It's helping people with other issues, but it's designed to help reduce eye fatigue from screen time, reading, and daily stress. It uses gentle massage. I mean, it massages your temples. It's really, really cool. Supports relaxation. You get a refreshed feeling around the eyes, may relieve with tension. Listen, it's helping people, some people with headaches, migraines, all different things. And this device here, the Shaker Massager, listen, I love this device too. This is a real big conversation piece. You get this device, you wear it around the house, you take a picture of it, put it on social media. People can be like, what is that? Well, this device is incredible. It's the newest device we have. It uses ultrasound to break down stubborn fat. It helps break down visceral fat, uses heat therapy, high frequency vibration, radio frequency red light dynamic massage, and PEMF therapy. So people are losing inches around their waist wearing this belt. And then they may turn it around on their lower back, and it's been helping people with lower back issues as well. So really incredible. These devices, I will tell you, you're not going to find better devices in the world right now. That's why this company is just exploding, because when something works, people tell people about it, and then more people get it and they tell people about it. And that's kind of what's happened. It's growing organically right now around the world. So what I'm going to do right now, I want to stop the share and I want to invite on someone to share their testimonial. Amy, are you on here? Where are
I
you?
am here.
All right, let me spotlight you for everybody. Amy, would you share your testimonial?
I would love to. Okay, so I'm going to take this story that's really big and I'm going to make it super tiny for you because I know we're on limited time here. But my backstory was August, September. I was having some issues with my eye right here and I needed cataract surgery. So we went in August, had the cataract surgery, woke up from surgery, and they said it did not go as planned. Panic. So 11 days later, they had to do another surgery on my eye. My eye was so beaten up. But I had been going to this eye doctor for the last year and a half. They had noticed that I had fluid buildup in the back of my eye. They were giving me drops and everything that you can think of under the sun to try to get this fluid down because the last thing we wanted was for the fluid to go into the middle of my pupil, which would not be good. So, in and out of the doctor, getting my eyes dilated every 6 weeks. It was just so obnoxious at this point. But 8 weeks ago, I had another appointment. You're getting older when you have all these doctor's appointments. And I went, and the fluid was, it was there still. He sent me home with drops to put in my eye once a day, which I would forget. But I also incorporated the eye goggles 3 times a week because honestly, I was a little nervous. I was scared because you just don't know. I know that PEMF is remarkable. There's no doubt about that. So I started incorporating the eye goggles 3 times a week with when I remembered my eye drop. So fast forward to last Wednesday, I had yet another appointment, and it was to see if the drops were doing what they were supposed to be doing. Again, I would always forget to do the drops. You would think that I would always remember, but it's medicine and I would always forget. So I would say probably 3 to 4 times a week, I would remember the drops. So I go in and I do all the scanning. They dilate my eyes. They do the whole thing like they always do. And it's scary because it's your eyes. And so he finally comes in, my eyes are dilated, he's up in my eyeballs and with the lights and all the things, and he keeps looking and he goes, "So you're using the eye drops, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I am, when I remember." And he goes, "Okay." And he goes, "And that's all you're using is the eye drops?" And I go, "Well, actually, I'm using some PEMF goggles for, PEMF therapy," which I don't think he really understood. And I said, "These are really cool goggles. These are not off the TikTok shop. These are legit $500 goggles." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he looks back over at the screen and he looks back at me and does the whole eye again and then looks back at the screen again. And he goes, "Huh." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, um, look at the screen." And this was what my eye looked like at the last visit. It looked like a desert. It looked like a sand desert with a big mountain right in the middle. The big mountain was my fluid in my eye. And he goes, "And as you can see, the new right here, this is from today, it looked like a flat desert." And I was like, "Okay, I don't really understand all this doctor talk." And he goes, "You have zero fluid in your eye." And I said, "Really?" I was getting really, really nervous about this fluid. I was really thinking I was going to have another surgery, I was scared that I was going to lose my eyesight. And so he was just absolutely floored when I told him about the PEMF therapy. This guy is so smart, but I don't know if obviously not being taught PEMF. And so he asked me, he goes, "The next time you come in," I go, "I'll bring them." And he goes, "Yeah, I'd really like to see these goggles." And I said, "Absolutely." So it's not for another 4 months. I don't have to go to the doctors for another 4 months. Usually it's every 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm super excited. I'm actually not going to wait to show him the goggles in 4 months. So I'm going to email him and show him what it is, where he can get it, and just kind of give him a little bit of a a backstory. But I also wanted to say really quick, I know this is long, but when I came home from the doctors, my eyes were dilated. And my honey knows the whole routine. My eyes are always dilated for 5 to 6 hours when I get home. Always. They're very sensitive. I've had a lot of trauma in my eyes, apparently. So when I got home, I got dilated at 2 o'clock. I was home by about 3:15. And by 4:30, 4:45, after I came home, I put my goggles on, sat down on the patio for about a 20-minute session. And by 4:30, 4:45, my dilation was completely back to normal. And that has never happened in all the years that I've been going to eye doctors, ever. And so the fact that the fluid behind my eye is gone, is it coincidental? I don't think so. And then being able to actually see after 2 hours and 45 minutes or so for my eyes to become undilated, it's really, really, I don't know. I'm just really excited to see that. I mean, no pun intended, but to see that my eye is completely fluid free. So that was really amazing to hear and to see that, because they just have not been anything but just fluid buildup in the back. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate that. Yeah, such a great story. And listen, I encourage all of you, if you're watching the replay or you're on with us tonight and you're not part of our testimonial page, just get added to our Simplifying Wellness testimonial page. You're going to see hundreds of people like Amy, and there's so many others on here tonight that have experienced these devices and are just telling their story. And so it is really, really incredible. I encourage you to get on there. So let's get back to this really quick here. Let's go back. Again, listen, I would encourage you to find the Ollie device that fits your needs. And you know what? Just get one. Okay. Just get a device and experience what people are experiencing. Listen, I think it's the timing of it. It seems like all of us have some sort of ailment. Even if you don't have an ailment, it's going to help you out. It's going to help your body. So let's switch gears here again. You might be here just for the devices, or you might be here to learn about, why this company is exploding and if you could potentially make money with this, helping spread the word. And listen, you can, because this business is an absolute home run. And why is that? Well, the product is demonstratable. You put people's feet in the devices, have them wear the belt, have them use the goggles, and people feel the difference. They feel the difference right away. Are they going to feel a change? Like, are they going to feel pain-free after one session? Probably not. Listen, there are some people that do. There's some people get results the first day. Most people get results of sleeping better the first time, but everybody's different, right? But it's not a huge lifestyle change. And if you want to talk about business, listen, business is all about timing. You guys have heard this a million times. Real estate's all about location. Business is about timing. So every business goes through 3 phases if they make it that far, right? Most businesses fail the first year. Well, Olylife, the first 3 years, we already talked about what they did. Over 3 billion in the first, 2 billion in the first 3 years. The startup phase, they crushed it. They exploded. That wasn't really a startup. They exploded in Asia. And right now we're in the growth phase, especially we're in the infancy stage, really, in America, in other countries. In Europe, it's brand new, like we talked about, all over, Australia, even in Asia. 3.5 years, not an old company, right? But they got a little bit of market penetration there, a little bit. But look at that red dot. That's where we are. We're getting ready for this explosive growth phase. And eventually it's going to stabilize, right? That's when everybody's going to have one of these home devices where they're affordable. Everybody's going to have one. Can you still make money? Sure, because they're going to still bring out different devices as time goes on. But if you really want to take advantage of an opportunity, it's all about timing. Timing matters more than talent. So if you're someone that's like, I don't know if I can do this, listen, you can do it. I'm going to talk about how simple this is in a minute. But the key to business success is absolutely seizing the right moment. So how do you get started? Well, listen, you get a device. Here with our company, it's unlike anything I've ever done in 30 years in this industry. There's no auto ship. You don't have to keep spending money. You buy the product once. You buy the device once. It can be used by the whole family. You can get daily payout, global ready. You can spread this around anywhere in the world. It's basically shipping to every country. And there's high retention because people love these devices to get great results. And they want to get another device, right? So you can come in really where you fit in. You can get $1,000 device, you can get $1,500 device, you can get $2,000 worth of devices, and all the way up to 6,000 or whatever you want to get. Okay, so yeah, you can get higher earning potential as you buy more devices. But again, it's not necessary. But we're going to talk about 7 ways to earn tonight. I'm not going to talk about all 7 to save time. We're going to talk about a few of them here. And I guarantee after you see this, if you're in any kind of home-based business, direct sales, whatever you want to call it, relationship marketing, if you've been in a company before or you're in one currently, I guarantee this is going to knock your socks off right now. There's no joining fee. Okay. You buy a device. There's no extra cost to be in the business. Everybody that gets a device goes into our structure. Okay. If you want to sell it, great. If you don't want to sell it, great. No big deal. There's no subscription. There's no monthly fee. You're active forever just buying a device. You can build international teams as passive potential. And for those of you guys that understand compensation plans and structures, this is called a binary compensation plan. It's actually the fastest, most fair, community-driven compensation plan out there. And by the way, if you're on now and you're going, oh, I built a binary before, this binary is different. Okay, there's no breakaway, there's no nothing here. This is incredible. So binary means we build 2 teams. You're going to share it with a couple people. The first person you share it with, they're going to go on the team on the left side first, and then the second person is going to go on the right. But let's talk first, before I show you the structure, let's talk about something I've never seen before, and I guarantee you haven't either. This is called a team bonus. When you get started for, let's say, $1,000, you can earn up to 3 times what you start with from the person directly above you in the compensation plan. I said that right. You heard that right. Directly above you, not below you, but directly above you. So let's say I sponsored you, okay? And then you were placed below, let's say, Sandy. And Sandy went out there and she made 60 grand. You came in for $1,000. Well, 5% is 60 grand. You just made $3,000 off of what Sandy did. Pretty incredible, right? You get 5% of her income daily. She makes money daily. You make 5% of her income until you max out 3 times what you started with. So you start with 1,000, you make 3,000. Start with 1,500, you can make 4,500. Start with 2,000, you make 6,000 off of what Sandy does. Now, is that guaranteed? No. You don't know who you're coming in right directly under. It's not who sponsors you. It's where you placed in that structure, if you will. So you might be placed below someone that builds a business and you make money every day. You might be placed below someone that just got the device, is not doing anything. I look at this as a really cool bonus. But if you don't get anything here, it's not a big deal, okay? This is just a little bonus, but it is pretty cool. I'm sure you guys would agree. And we have something called a performance bonus. Call this a fast start bonus. We like to say in the industry. It's basically when you go share a device with somebody and they buy a device, $1,000 device is 75% point value. So $1,000 device has 75 point value. You can make 10% point value on any devices you sell. So obviously 10% of 750, you make a $75 performance bonus. Now, if someone comes in for $2,000 worth of devices, 10% of 1,500 is 150, right? And you guys can see the difference there. So it's just a one-time bonus, but I want to show you something that really is incredible. When I saw this bonus, couldn't believe it. And I've been part of these structures before, and I've never seen anything quite like this. So this is called a tier bonus. Let's say you are right there, the yellow, and let's say you bring on me. I'm an A1. And then you bring in Sandy, and Sandy's B1. Now, because you brought in one on the left and one on the right, the first one on that level, you're going to make a $375 tier bonus if both of us just buy $1,000 devices. And then let's say I bring in Anna. Let's say A1 brings in A2, right? Anna's A2, I'm A1. You don't know Anna, but I bring in A2. And then Sandy brings in Julie, and Julie's B2. Now, let's say Anna and Julie both get $1,000 devices. Now, you didn't bring either one of those people in, but they're the first on that second tier. You're going to make another $375 tier bonus. And it keeps happening, whether you bring those people in or not. The first one left, first one right, you're going to make a tier bonus. And those tier bonuses actually get better because a lot of people are coming in for $1,500. If both people get $1,500 devices, it's a $562.50 tier bonus. If both people come in for $2,000, you get a $750 tier bonus. And if both people come in for $6,000, who will come in for $6,000? Listen, chiropractors, practitioners, people that do trade shows, they want extra devices, right? Or if you just want extra devices, they hand to people, right? So you don't have to wait for it to come in. Then you make it $2,250 if both people on each side get $6,000 worth of devices. Now, let me show you a cool little visual here. Let me show you the power of what can happen here. Why people that I'm looking at their faces here, their first 30 days made six, seven, $8,000 the first 30 days. I know it sounds crazy, right? You think about what? How do they make six, seven, $8,000 the first 30 days? I'm going to show you. It's real simple. It's simple to do, okay, but it's also simple not to do, right? They went to work. Let me show you this. What happens? Let's say my sponsors here are Tuan and Van. They're leading the charge. They launched North America. They made over $1 million in their first 11 months. I know it sounds crazy, another crazy thing, right? But it's true. Why? Because this thing is flying, because this compensation plan is like nothing we've seen before. These devices work like nothing we've seen before, and it's all about timing. They were first in the market, but it's only been here really 5 months. Five and a half, 6 months has been in America. They were building it in Asia. They were building it in Europe, building it in Australia. They were building a little bit in here in America before it. We had warehouses here, but they're my sponsors here. And let's say I sponsor you and you're excited, right? You're waiting for your device to get in and you go, Aaron, how do I share this with people? I say, well, hey, it's real simple. Let's say that's Sandy. I said, Sandy, all you do, I'm going to send you a picture of the P90 Plus, what everybody's getting. I'm going to text you a picture because you don't have your device yet. And I go, just text that picture or messenger that picture to people privately and say, have you seen this device yet? And 99% of people are going to say, no, what is it? And you're going to say, it's a PEMF device. And people are going to be like, what's that? And then you're going to say, hey, do you use any kind of chat GPT or any kind of AI? Most people say yes. Or they can just go to Google, because Google has AI now. And you tell them, hey, just go look up what are the benefits of PEMF. And when they do that, they're going to see it's all positive. They're going to go, whoa. And then you might send them a quick little video. And then you might add them to our testimonial page, and they're going to read hundreds of testimonials. And probably while that's happening, this is what can happen. So Tuan and Van are out there sharing it, right? And basically, they put somebody on Sandy's team, Sandy's left side. And then I put somebody on Sandy's team. Now, listen, this isn't guaranteed. This can happen to you. It's not guaranteed. But people above can potentially put people on your team. So then Sandy adds some people to the testimonial page, and she gets someone. Then Anna says, oh my gosh, Sandy, I want this device. This looks incredible. I have similar ailments to these people. I want to get this device. So Sandy signs up Anna. That's the first person. Now, for this little illustration, we're going to do an example that everybody bought $2,000 worth of devices. That's our P90 Plus and our Galaxy G1 goggles, which are a really cool combination that everybody's getting. So what happens when Anna gets $2,000 worth of devices, Sandy makes 10% of the performance bonus, which is $150. And then she shares it with Lori. And Lori gets excited, goes, oh my gosh, I want this device. Well, Sandy puts it on the first spot on the right side. And then she gets her first tier bonus. That tier bonus is $750. She also gets another performance bonus. And then what happens is our people, Tuan and Van, and my people bring in a couple of people down the left side of Sandy. They keep growing, right? And then Sandy brings in her third person. And she gets another $150 performance bonus, another $750 tier bonus. And then another person, same thing happens. And this is when it gets fun. Now, Sandy's second person in spot number 2 brought in their first person. They brought it in, and the first one goes on the left side. Well, look what happened to Sandy. Sandy got her first tier bonus on tier 4, and neither one of those people she brought into the business. But she still made $750. Happens again on the tier 5. You think Sandy's happy? Sandy's not doing anything. She's making $750, right? Because somebody brought somebody in with these devices. And then Sandy's so excited, she tells a couple more people about it. She gets 2 more performance bonuses, 2 more tier bonuses. So you look what happened here. How many people did Sandy bring in? Sandy brought in 6, right? It's just 6 people. So look what happens. 6 times $150 is $900 in performance bonuses. And she got 7 tiers equaling $5,250. Over $6,000 Sandy made, and she only brought in 6 people. Look at that. I mean, where can you find that anywhere? Also, what happens is, remember, all those devices, all those $2,000 worth of devices have point value. So 7 times 1,500 equals 10,500 on the left side and the right side. What does that do for Sandy? Well, it actually gives her 1 share of our global pool the company shares with all the leaders. She hits a rank called M1. It's the first leadership rank when you have 10,000 on left, 10,000 on right. And listen, you don't have to bring all those people in. It can happen from people you bring on board, right? And she gets 1 share in the global pool. Every year, they share 5% of the company's annual revenue every January. And it's shared amongst all the people that hit these different ranks, M1 all the way to M7. The higher you go, the more shares you get. And what's neat about this, if you've been in this industry before or you're in it, the volume never flushes. Okay. It's not like you're building every month, you have that end of the month close, right? And then the first day of the month, you look in your back office and the volume's zero, right? That doesn't happen here. Never goes away. Your volume never goes away. It keeps compounding and accumulating. Okay. Very, very cool. So let me bring this all full circle real quick here. And I want to really share. We've talked about how simple this is. I talked about what Sandy had to do to share the devices. It's literally that simple. You're going to share a picture with people say, have you seen this device yet? They're going to say no. You're going to ask if they heard of PMF. They're going to say no, probably. You're going to go have them go to Google or whatever AI and say, look up PMF. What are the benefits? And you're going to add them to our testimonial page. We have short little videos people can watch. And when people go through that process, people want these devices because the timing in our world right now, think about all the baby boomers right now. Everybody has ailments. Everybody's struggling to find ways to help their body. And these devices are finally affordable. I mean, before this, devices were $5,000 for anything that was remotely good. And our $1,500 PMF device, our P90 Plus, that's the best device. They're all incredible, but that's the one everybody's getting these results with. Has the Frost Age Beauty Wand, the Revitalex Massager, has all this stuff in one. This device works better than all these $30,000, $40,000 devices out there. We have chiropractors that are signing up like crazy, practitioners that are signing up like crazy because finally they have devices they can share with their clientele and a device that actually works. So I would tell you, get back to the person who invited you on here. We talked about timing. This is exploding. Get your spot in the tree before someone else gets it, because when you take your spot in the tree, someone that signs up tomorrow could be on your team, whether you brought them in or not. So not to fear loss you, but I'm fear of lossing you. I'll be straight with you. Okay, this is so good. You want to get started. Don't think about it. Okay, just get a device, see what it does for your body. And like we talked about, timing matters more than talent. You don't have to be good. Okay, you can do this. If you've never had success in anything when it comes to sharing any kind of products or whatever, you can do this because it's super simple and this device actually works incredibly well and the timing's incredibly good. So get back to the person invited you on here, get your questions answered, get a device. We're going to do this presentation again. It's Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, same Zoom link and everything. So invite people to Thursday night. And we're going to start something really special on the team next week. So with that, you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much. Take care and take charge, everybody. Everybody have a great night. Bye-bye now.